Hey YouTube, well, after searching my local Toys R Us shelves like a starved wolf for about the last 2-3 weeks, I was finally able to find one of these Legacy White Tigerzords. It took a long time to get to the East Coast, but it finally got here, and the Toys R Us by me was price gouging up to $93. I was able to price match it to $80 straight from Bandai's website, which is something that the original Toys R Us store that I went to didn't let me do when I bought my Saba sword. So some places will let you price match, some places don't. I guess it just depends. I'm just showing you the multiple angles of the Zord really quick, just to give you a quick overview what the Zord looks like from pretty much every angle. Now, before we go too in-depth with looking at the Zord, let's take a quick look at its box, and it has a pretty nice box. The lettering on it is a nice reflective metallic gold, which is really cool, which is not on the Legacy Dragonzord box. I just noticed by looking at my Legacy Dragonzord box, which is kind of odd because the Legacy White Tigerzord doesn't have any metallic gold on it like the original Zord did. Now, here's a quick look at the side where you can see the White Ranger Tommy, and it's going to switch now to show you the side where it combines with the Legacy Dinozords because they have not announced the Legacy Thunderzords. And it's weird that they show it combining with the Legacy Dinozords, which is something it was never able to do in the original version back in the 1990s. Now, the back of the box is a little confusing because it does mention the Thunderzords. I guess they have to just because of the backstory, which further adds to the assumption that they're eventually going to announce a Legacy Thunderzord to combine with this. Now, being that this is a comparison, let's compare the new box to the old box. And obviously, you're not going to get a White Tiger Power Coin with it, and you're not going to get the White Ranger action figure that's really just a bunch of molded plastic. The boxes are obviously shaped differently. One is more of a portrait, one is more of a landscape orientation, and the box for the White Tigerzord is actually very thin. You can see it there, it's almost paper thin, while the new Power Ranger box for the Legacy Zord is very thick cardboard. Inside the Legacy White Tiger box is cardboard to hold the Zord together, and that's pretty much it. There's no parts or anything like that. It's all one solid piece, whilst with the original White Tigerzord, you got the White Tigerzord, the plastic blow globe red things you had to add on later, and all that jazz. There's a whole bunch of moving parts. Now, here is where you can see why there's a slight conspiracy with the fact that they might eventually make a Legacy Thunderzord team, and it is because why would they make it so that the Legacy White Tigerzord could morph into, I guess, or not morph, I don't know, transform, whatever you want to say, transform into this form, which is the exact same form the original White Tigerzord takes when it combines with the original Thunderzord. There's no reason for the arms to go down. There's no reason for the pegs that are right here and on the other side to be there unless it's going to eventually combine with something, and when you combine it with the Dinozord, which it shows in the box, it doesn't. Here's the peg it would combine with on the Dinozord. It's kind of hard to see, and I'll show you how you remove the feet later on. It's actually fairly easy if you want to combine it with the Legacy Dinozord, although I don't think it looks that great. Here you can see the Dinozord itself. I'm just showing you the metal molded parts because it does say it comes die-cast. Basically, the claws and the tiger's neck, that's really all there is in metal-wise in the front. On the side, there is metal that is holding the Zord together for when you rotate its upper chest piece to combine it or transform it to Tigerzord mode or, Tiger mode, whatever you want to do. The claws on the bottom feet are also metal, and inside, if I slowly rotate it, you can see that there is also metal inside that acts as the hinge for when you want to rotate the legs up. And here are some of the major differences I noticed between the two Zords, the original and the Legacy. First off, the plastic red globes that were very easily knocked off on the original are now molded completely, and they are not see-through or transparent, and there are no lights that shine through them anymore. There is no more metallic gold paint on the tiger's head or on the Zord's figure's head as well. The eyes are also not hollow because there's no light behind them. They are the same molded red as the globes are. There's also molded plastic details that are colored now. They are no longer stickers. There is no stickers in the box for the new Legacy Zord at all. It basically just comes as one hunk of a Zord. With the new Zord, you can also bend it at the elbows. The old Zord, you could not. All you could really do is rotate the tiger paw at the end of the fist, basically. You could also move the arm and rotate it. There is no reason you could not. As you can see here, you can also remove the sword in a way that you couldn't on the original because it has a opening and closing hand. On the original Zord, it was really just a plastic molded fist with a hole in the middle that you just kind of lightly place the sword in, and it really wouldn't hold the sword. As you can see when I move it around, there really isn't any way to open it, and you kind of just pluck the sword out. It kind of just rests in there almost like a cup holder would hold a cup. Now, the differences between the swords are minor, but there are no more pieces that are separate that you have to snap together. It is all one molded piece on the Legacy Zord. Now, for some reason, they also decided to include bendable knees, which is something I thought was a little weird on the Legacy version that the, original version didn't have, and I didn't mind the fact that they didn't have it on the original version, because on most of my Power Rangers, the bendable knees kind of just give me problems, because you can't really stand it up if you bend one of the knees. Now, one of the areas that's changed the most is the feet on the Legacy White Tigerzord. As you can see, it kind of just rotates out at 2 points. That's really it. There's no sliding around. On the original White Tigerzord, however, you would have to slide the foot down the entire track that was existing kind of oddly at the bottom, and then you'd have to rotate the foot out and then all the way up. And as you can see, if you look close enough, the foot is really hollow, kind of past the ankle, whilst on the Legacy White Tigerzord, it is not. It is fully molded plastic. And the reason that is because on the original Zord, you had to use the feet to lock into the Thunderzords. Now it seems that they're going to rely on the Zord builder pegs. The new Legacy Zord, the feet are a lot easier to collapse compared to the original Zord, and as you can see it now, I pointed to it before, the difference in the globes is fairly obvious. One is transparent with silver trim around it, whilst the other is not. Now, what I'm pointing to here is the fact that there is molded plastic on the sides of the tiger head, as opposed to there being stickers, which kind of slipped behind it. Also, when you pull it out, there's no longer any Mighty Morphin Power Ranger symbol, it's just red lines. And I just wanted to put these Zords both in the mode that you'd put them in if you wanted to combine them with the Thunderzord, just to show that there is no reason to include it unless it's going to combine with this Thunderzord, because the reason that the arms slide down is to combine with the Lion Zord's paw. So if there is no Lion Zord paw, there is no reason for there to be Zord builder pegs there or for the shoulders to go down. Hopefully they do make a Legacy, Thunderzord, but if they don't, they have plausible deniability because they never really confirmed it. Also, I'm not sure if it's just me, but the Legacy Tigerzord's head does look a lot bigger than the original Zord's head does, and it's weird because the original Zord is bigger. Now, to compare these two in Tiger mode, there really isn't too much of a difference other than the plastic blow globes being in the original one's mouth, so its mouth can be open more. The Legacy version's arms bend in a different direction than the original does, and I think it looks a lot better, and the tail still goes in the exact same way. So there really isn't too much of a difference other than molded plastic compared to stickers and attachable plastic pieces. If you want to combine with the Dinozord, all you gotta do is what I just did, and is slightly pulled down upon the Tigerzord's foot on the Legacy version, and it will pop right out, allowing you to combine it with either the Legacy Dinozord or the 2010 Dinozord, which is the exact same size as the Legacy Dinozord. Now, just to show you, here's the original White Tigerzord combined with the Thunderzord to make the, Super Ultra Mega White Tigerzord. And here is the Legacy Tigerzord combined with the Legacy Dinozord legs, which kind of makes no sense. So you could see why it's going to be assumed that they're eventually going to make a Legacy Thunderzord. I really hope they do, because it would look so sweet, and it would make this Zord look a little better in this mode. One last thing I wanted to add is it seems like they're basing this Legacy White Tigerzord off of the man in the costume in the show more than anything else. It looks like a man's profile now. It has bendable elbows and bendable knees and movable hands and a very large head. It looks like the profile of a man. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up so I know, so I can make more of these videos, because I'm going to make a Legacy Titanus review within the next week or so, and I made a Legacy Sabla review literally 2 days ago. So if you want to see more, don't forget to click subscribe, because it's free, it's fun, and I'll see you guys in the next one.